Hey, Alan, the Knicks got a little shunned in the All-Star festivities, didn't they?
Yeah, last night the Rising Stars Challenge rosters were announced, and the Knicks have 3 rookies and 2 sophomores, and not a single one of them was named to either of the rosters. It's just really an amazing thing. Now, coaches around the league vote for this roster, so they're the ones that were the ones that decided that Kevin Knox, who's 7th in scoring among rookies, and Alonzo Trier, the undrafted player, who's 8th in scoring, and Mitchell Robinson, who leads all rookies in blocks, is also just not worthy of this roster. Now, it's worth noting only 3 rookies were named to the United States team. That'd be Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Marvin Bagley. That's the format that they're doing with this U.S. versus the world format. So it makes it a lot difficult for rookies, especially U.S.-born rookies, to make this team. But only 3 rookies on this team is quite surprising. Now, it's also worth noting that Frank Ntilikina, who played in the game last year for the world team, was not named to the world roster this year. There is a chance, however, the Knicks will have some representation in this game, as Lonzo Ball from the Lakers, who was named to the U.S. team, is not likely to play because of injury. So Kevin Knox or Alonzo Trier or even Mitchell Robinson still has a chance, and the Knicks still have a chance to have representation at this game. But it is an interesting format and kind of weird that only 3 rookies would be on the U.S. team.
Hey, what do you make of this whole Dennis Smith Jr. episode recently with Dallas?
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago where he was away from the team, and it seemed like it was inevitable that they were going to trade him. And now he's back with the team, and it took some convincing from Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle to talk him into getting back with the group and smoothing some things over. And since he's been back, he's averaging over 16 points per game, and it seems now that the issues have been resolved. In fact, he said you don't realize how much you miss it until you're actually missing it. And that, of course, means being away from the game. Now, the Mavericks were reportedly listening to offers for Smith well before he went AWOL. And despite the reconciliation, you can expect that maybe that they would still be interested in talking trade for their 2017 lottery pick. So it's not as if he's completely now off the table for a trade. But one of the reasons why is Luka Doncic, who's played so well as a rookie, and it's kind of made him expendable. But even Doncic said he'd like to see Smith stay because he said, quote, he can help us.
Meanwhile, Anthony Davis's agent recently went public with his client's desire to leave the New Orleans Pelicans. Why did he go public, do you think?
No, that didn't make sense. Maybe he didn't know the rule. Now, this is Rich Paul from Clutch Sports. He's well known as LeBron James's close friend from many years ago, and he represents LeBron as well as he does represent now Anthony Davis. And this whole thing really took on a life of its own on Monday. And Rich Paul went to ESPN, in fact, and gave a statement that said that Davis, quote, wants to be traded to a team that allows him a chance to win consistently and compete for a championship. Now, the NBA fined Anthony Davis and Rich Paul $50,000, and the reason was for violating a collectively bargained rule prohibiting players or their representatives from making public trade demands. That's against the rules. You'd think that the agent would know this. Now, the issue, of course, is that he went public with it. Now, it doesn't mean that they pull it back. It's still certainly something that's going down, but the league doesn't want you talking publicly about this, the player nor the agent. And remember, in 2009, Nate Robinson was here at New York. His agent went public also. Aaron Goodwin was the agent back then. I was a writer with Newsday, and I remember this very well. Came out and told us as reporters that Nate was looking for a trade from the team, and they were fined $25,000 for it. So it's something the league doesn't want to see out there, but it's out there now, and it's certainly a story that isn't going away. The Lakers still look like the destination team, and as I mentioned, Rich Paul does represent LeBron James, and it seems like LeBron is orchestrating this whole thing.
Okay, the stat of the night is?
Stat of the night is, we don't get to talk defense a lot here. And the defense is not showing up in the win-loss column, but the defense has been better for the Knicks lately. Over the last 3 games, they're allowing 105.3 points per game while holding opponents to 42.6% defensive field goal percentage. Both of those would be among the top 10 in the NBA right now. Now, here's the comparison. Over the previous 25 games, the Knicks were allowing 117.4 points per game, and teams were shooting 48.5% against them. So even though it's not showing in the win column, the defense of late has been better.